Hello, good evening, everybody. Glad to be back. As promised, I would like to do your new moon in Aries reading tonight. Now, that new moon is coming up on April 5th, and I'm not sure what to expect because I have deliberately not watched anything about it. So, or read anything about it or anything like that. So we're purely going to be going off of the channeling I receive in this reading. And you can decide for yourself if that applies to you or if it resonates. Okay. Quickly, I just want to thank all of you guys for liking, subscribing, sharing. Please remember right now, please like this video. It helps other people to find it in their feeds. And your comments help so much too. So please do comment on this video. Let me know what you thought of it, what you'd like to see more of, and what your experience has been, etc. So I actually normally am at the dojo tonight. So I actually skipped my class in order to be here, but that's kind of because I've been feeling terrible. I did my last video a couple days ago, and like after that video I was just like everything, it was energetically, I did a 180, and I've been sort of releasing all these emotions, transmuting emotions, feeling all kinds of crazy chakra stuff, mostly in my sacral chakra, some in my root chakra, a little bit in my heart chakra, and moving through emotions that are either not mine or related to stuff that's so buried I don't even know what it is, and that's okay. So if you're going through that, that's totally fine. I also am, I knew this was going to happen eventually, but I'm also finding myself like I'm having trouble eating meat now, and I do martial arts 5 times a week, very, very intense martial arts. So it's becoming very challenging for me to keep up with my lifestyle and also, try to adjust the way that I'm eating because I just can't do it anymore. I mean, it makes me feel sick. And I went through a period of that many, many years ago, and then I went the other direction, and that was fine for a while. I just knew this would come around again, and I was just like, I'm just going to listen to my body. Whenever my body tells me it's time, that's when we're doing it. Well, it's time. So that's my advice to you, is listen to your body. If you are still supposed to be, consuming animal products or whatever, then do it until it's time, and if it never becomes time, then whatever, but for me, it's unfortunately time, and I'm going through lots of different changes with my own physical body and how I process energy, and just getting through my day to day right now is very challenging because my body does not feel right, and my energy is different. It's just all weird. So it's funny because most of my friends went through this about a year ago, but while I experienced the same energetic or possibly even more drastic energetic changes, I did not get that physical change until this year. So anyway, it is what it is. If you're going through that, just know it's okay, and just, listen to your guidance, listen to your body, and do what's right for you. Okay? Don't let anybody else tell you what's right for you and when. Okay? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to start off by just, so a new moon is going to be a new beginning of sorts. There are going to be certain things that are released, and of course, right away coming up the 9 of Gems again, which is that independence card, that card of essentially self-sufficiency and I feel it as self-love and a sense of being this this accomplished person in your own right. So you need no one else to you don't need anyone else to shine, is kind of where I'm going with this. It may mean that you are literally becoming single again, or leaving a job so that you're striking out on your own again, or you're striking out. I mean, this could be a business owner, someone like myself who is like, who runs their own business. So we're talking about somebody who's in control of their own life, and has a degree of stability in that. Okay, so I think that's important because sovereignty. Sovereignty is the word that wanted to come out earlier. This is your sovereignty, and this is what's really required of all of us right now. And so with the new moon, we're talking about the energies that are coming in for this new cycle, right? And we did talk a little bit about this week. So I think there is going to certainly be more of that coming up with this Aries new moon on the 5th. And really grounding that energy in. It's, you know, we're talking about a gems card, which is the same as pentacles or coins, which is all about that earthy energy. And this is about stability and standing on one's own 2 feet, knowing your truth, and being able to I want to say to speak it. And what the words that wanted to come out were being able to speak it. So I do believe that's a piece of this part of this card, even though the swords are usually the communication, the speaking of the truth suit. But that's coming out right now for the 9 of Gems. What just came out also is the Wheel of Fortune with the 3 of Shells and the 5 of Wings. Okay? So it's the Wheel of Fortune with the 3 of Cups and the 5 of Swords. So what I'm getting from this is that no matter what has come before, it's almost like this sort of, I could say fated events, like this is sort of fated events coming up. Sometimes I hate to say that because people take it too far and they like think I'm saying that all life is fated, and it isn't. We still have free will, but there are certain events in our lives that are just going to happen, maybe because we, you know, decided before we came into this lifetime. There are a million different ways to think about this. I'm not the kind of person that's going to tell you what to believe, okay? I'm just going to read this the way the energy's coming through. So to me, this feels like something that was going to happen. This is like meant to be, okay? Whatever this is. So whatever came before, whatever's meant to be, it's coming up, all right? And it is it's going to end up being a positive thing, even if you do have to go through some conflict in order to get there, okay? So the 3 of Shells is like the 3 of Cups. I'm reading it at the second as like a celebration, because that's what this card says down here, is celebration. And the 5 of Wings is, of course, the 5 of Swords. So I feel like it may feel hard won because you've gone through a big period of your life before you got to this fated event, okay? So it might be that, again, you needed to learn all these lessons before you got here so that you could, you know, make this change in your life. Whatever it is a positive change, even though you probably have had to lose things along the way or release things along the way. In fact, you certainly have had to release things along the way in order to get here. I'm feeling that with this new moon, that this time has come where this sort of fated event, this destined gift is coming to you. And it's coming out now, and we're talking about the new moon. So I'm not talking about the future, you know what I mean? Like, I'm really talking about now. So something is coming up, which is very positive for us, and it's a very big move. It's a change, a move, because of the Wheel of Fortune, and that is a big energy. So just be in expectancy. Don't expect to death anything. So when you start doing that, like, you take your mental energy and you start pushing and pulling on the thing that you are trying to manifest, and then you, like, the universe is completely unable to give it to you because you've, like, sent it all over the place with, you know, conflicting energies, right? So what you want to be able to do is just put it out there and then expect that the universe is going to bring it, which it will and is, okay, with the Wheel of Fortune showing up. If you are in a situation where you know there are just too many cooks in the kitchen, all right? I'm not going to put this strictly in a romantic sense because I kind of hate when people read the Three of Cups or Three of Shells as a third-party situation because I think that creates anxiety. It also is like, I mean, I also think it's a very narrow-minded like way of thinking about this card, okay? So I am going to say if there's a situation where there are too many cooks in the kitchen, let's say there is a third person, like a third wheel or something in a relationship, or you're in a job or something where there are too many people vying for attention or control or something like that, that this is really time, and again, we're looking at the Nine of Gems, which is the first card out. This is that time of you being very honest about what it is that you want in your life. What is it that, what is it that fits your picture of joy moving forward, your picture of what your life, how you want to step out into your life going forward, okay? And if there's one too many people in the picture, right, metaphorically or literally, then or even, it doesn't even have to be people. It could be that you are spreading yourself too thin between too many obligations, like too many jobs and hobbies, okay? So this is like what needs to be, what might need to be removed from your life. And there might be a bit of a struggle to get there. There might be uncomfortable conversations. There might be arguments. There might be a resignation letter. There might be going to somebody and apologizing and withdrawing your commitment to lead a group or do something, okay? So I feel some of that coming up, which is a different interpretation of the same cards. My first interpretation is usually the strongest. So just take that as it resonates for you in your life. You're going to know which one feels right for you, okay? So there's a turn in that, whatever those situations are, there's a big turn. I feel like there was another thing I was getting from this, but I don't remember it anymore. If it comes back, I will bring it back up. Okay, so let's get some more cards for what new is coming in with the new moon in Aries, okay? Ace of Wings, Ace of Swords, truth, clarity, communication. So that goes along really well with everything we just said. We're talking about speaking your truth, knowing your truth, establishing your truth, moving forward in your truth, as opposed to, staying in a situation where people are vying for control or people are, pushing and pulling against each other and making it impossible, making everything a fight, making everything a battle, okay? That's kind of the energy I'm getting that we are getting out of, because that's so contrary to this energy of independence and stability and sovereignty. Back to that word sovereignty, okay? And so sovereignty is your truth, right? Every single human being deserves to be a sovereign human being. No one should be controlled by other relationships or anybody else's, emotional manipulation. That's a big one right now. I keep seeing a lot of that shit. Oh my God, that came up for me this week, and I was like, how is this employee emotionally, like, manipulating? How am I allowing this? And it's just, sorry, it was probably too personal, but for me, that's a big one. So for you, it could be something like that. It could be, oh my God, I had like an online stalker try to gaslight me the other day, and I was like, no, this is not, we're not doing this. So those are examples from my life, but it's all about this, this truth that, what is your truth into really seeing who you are, because this is who you are, right, as an individual, and then you get your 10, and that's who you are. That's your legacy, your unity with family or community or whatever, okay? So, but to get there, you've got your truth first, who you are, what it is you stand for. On this card also, I only just noticed, because I never read these, I just like say what comes in, is the word triumph. And so that makes a ton of sense, and it's amazing because it came out after this last card, which is labeled defeat, right? I don't actually read this as defeat very often, but defeat and triumph. So whatever it is that you're losing in this situation, whatever it is that's falling away, you're giving up, you're leaving, it's for this. It's for triumph. It's for your Ace of Swords. It's for your fucking ace. You know what I mean? It's like, there is nothing that compares. There's a song that came up a couple days ago that I was listening to, and for some reason I knew it was for me. I can't remember what it was anymore, but it had some of the words in it had something to do with nothing else compares or whatever. So anyway, so yeah, we're really getting clear, I think, on what it is that our truth is, whatever it is that we're going through in our lives. All right. I feel like there's more to come out on that. So what else new is coming up for us? Wow, 9 of shells. So we had the 9 of pentacles come out, and then the 9 of shells. Fulfillment. Okay, so this is really knowing what? Again, knowing your truth. What is it that fulfills you? Okay, and you need to know what it is before you can bring it in. At least on some level. I believe you can know this on a subconscious level and be manifesting it all along. But I think that it speeds the process up when your conscious mind is also operating in that direction, and also that you're not blocking it with your conscious mind by fearing it, or, you know, having some kind of feeling some obligation to whatever this thing is. You know what I mean? So what is it? What is it that you want? What's your fulfillment? What fulfills you? And it should, 9 of gems, respect your sovereignty. Okay? Those are important things. Now, this sounds very self-centered. I keep bringing this up because I don't know why. Because I think I've seen a couple things recently that made me feel like people aren't understanding what it means to release that which is not serving you anymore, okay? This is not about throwing away anything that's difficult. This is not about throwing away the challenges in your life or the people who you continue to have to work on a relationship with or whatever. This is about truly knowing what is and is not for you anymore, because you know what is. Because you now know who you are. You now have tried to work on something, right? Tried to make a job work. Tried to talk to your boss. Tried to make, a relationship work. Tried to make a marriage work. You have done the counseling, or you have talked about it, and somebody is still showing up with the same abusive patterns. Whatever, like, you have tried, okay? That is when you're releasing that which no longer serves you, because there is something, you are being served by conflict, okay? You are learning things. You are gaining all kinds of spiritual knowledge. You're gaining all kinds of wisdom through conflict, and then there comes a point where there is no more to be gained, and like energetically you'll feel that shift. You'll know it's just done. And when it gets to that point, then you need to really be serious about saying, okay, how do I step forward into my life? How does all this fit into my life? And it appears that with this new moon, much of that is very clear, with the Ace of Wings or Swords coming up here, and that change is on the horizon with the Wheel of Fortune. Not even on the horizon, it is here, okay? At least the energies are supporting it at this time, and the thing that I've learned about the energies is they are a bitch if you try to resist it when it's coming in. So I've learned that, and there are some things that are going on for me in my life this week that I would rather not deal with, but I know that it's time, and so I know that if it's time and I don't deal with it, it's going to come back bigger and badder in a very short period. So I need to make sure that I deal with those things. It's not, you can't keep sticking your head in the sand, or I can't keep sticking my head in the sand, okay? All right. So anyway, the last card was about the 9 of shells, fulfillment. What is it that fulfills you? This is another huge step into reaching that point of fulfillment and joy. You know, wishes granted. You deserve that in this lifetime. It is a fucking fallacy that life is suffering and pain and obligation, and you know what I mean? Like, there's a piece of life that's like that because there's something to be learned through that. There's grace to be received and given through that, but it's not all of life. It just isn't. Okay. All right. So let's get some more detail on what new is coming up for us. What new energies are coming up for us? Some more detail on that, please. Okay, we've got the Star and we've got the 7 of Shells coming up. I'm sorry if you can hear Louie scratching at the back door. I swear, every time I get on, my dogs are like, gotta go to the bathroom, gotta bark at stuff. Anyway, okay, so the Star with the 7 of Shells. I think that, so the Star is labeled as hope in this deck, and the 7 of Shells is labeled as illusion in this deck. And I think that this is becoming clear about what is hope and what is illusion. So, you know, what is really attainable here? And I think you become more clear about that. And the thing is like this thing that seems so far away, this star, that's the thing that's actually attainable. There's other stuff that, you know, you need to really start making some, there's some choices to be made about like what is, and I'm not saying you shouldn't go for things that seem like they might be unattainable, but I feel like there's a level of truth again coming in, showing us that, you know, even that this thing that are so hoped for that seems so far away is really much closer than it ever appeared. And that goes back to this 9 of Shells energy of that which we have wished for. Or that which we have hopefully been manifesting consciously or unconsciously, okay? That which is illusion, the things that we hold in our, or this could, I'm just hearing that this could be making that change to move toward that thing that, that is fulfilling for us as we move away from that which has been illusion, the things that are not really resonating with us anymore. Again, situations, relationships, jobs. I mean, I don't need to keep saying all that stuff. You're going to know what it is that you're going through in your life that's just not resonating with you anymore. There's something else that you want, like you want to switch careers, you want to, I don't know, I don't even know. You want to switch careers. You want to have a different hobby. You want to like move to a different state. You just can't do it anymore in the small town. I don't even know. You know, obviously, you know, the most obvious one is relationship isn't working out or something. Okay, that thing that you know what it is now that you want, and you know what's illusion now, and so it's kind of. I feel like there's a clarity. There's a clarity that comes in as what is illusion and what is real. All right? And it might not be what you thought it was. You might also be seeing people or situations you might be seeing beyond illusion now. Like you might have held this illusion for a very long time about what was necessary, what was expected, or what you thought you knew, or what you thought you felt. And you may see beyond that illusion now. You might see that, okay, here's a dumb example, but like, and I don't think that this is really quite related, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I was a vegetarian for many, many years. I turned back and started eating meat again because I was not eating like a healthy vegetarian. I was sick. I didn't feel good. So I started to feel better physically once I started eating meat again. And that was several years ago. And thank God I did, because then I ended up needing a major surgery. And, you know, not that you can't live a healthy life as a vegetarian, but the fact is I wasn't. And and that, I'm very sure made me live through that surgery. So now it's like, now it's kind of like I'm just shifting back to that non-animal product lifestyle. And for me, that's like seeing through my own illusion or whatever. I mean, it's not exactly the way it is, but it feels like I lived a short period of time in some kind of illusion that I needed this. And maybe I did at that point, but now that illusion is fading and now I'm back into a different, whatever part of my life. Okay, I'll stop because it's not a perfect example, but you might have something like that. In the most extreme examples, again, this is going to be a relationship where you're like, I can't do this anymore, or I thought this was something else, but what this really is a freaking ball and chain, or I thought this, partnership was equal. Like I'm thinking now, like business partners or whatever, thought this partnership was equal, but guess what? I'm really doing all the work. It's going to be all kinds of stuff like that. 6 of Roses. This came out for me earlier today. Victory. Okay, so this is victory over illusion. And if you want to take it even farther, the illusion is the Moon card. The illusion is the Devil card. This is fear and illusion and attachment, all that negative vibrational stuff. This is that getting washed away. Okay. I'm going to ask, what do we need to do in order to receive these new energies, okay? Because one of the things I always tell people is you can't just sit back and expect it all to happen to you, okay? You have to be an active participant. But sometimes you do with the Wheel of Fortune showing up, I almost feel like some of this is just coming in, But let's find out, what do we need to do in order to receive these new energies coming in? Oops, that was too many. Well, the first one that popped out was the 10 of Gems. And I'm kind of feeling from that what we need to do is know what it is that fulfills us. Like, it goes, again, back to that 9 of Shells. What is it that fulfills you? So it's just being very honest with yourself about what is it? Okay, so this is coming through now. Like, what is it that you want the rest of your life to mean? Okay? The 10 of Pentacles or 10 of Gems is typically a card of legacy. A very earthly legacy, right? So family. I want to say family and fortune. And this is not really about, like, making a ton of money. But if that happens, then fantastic. But, like, I just feel like knowing what it is that you want to leave on this earth or have done on this earth at this point. What direction is it that you want to go? If you're in a dead end right now, it's like you need to be aware of the illusion that is acceptable to you. Okay? Because if you're watching this video, I am willing to bet that is not acceptable to you. Okay? So what is it that you want to leave on this earth? What is your legacy? Which is interesting because my rescue's name is Louie's Legacy. Okay, so we've got the King of Shells, which is the King of Cups, the Emperor, and the Princess of Roses, which is like the Page of Wands. There's a lot of... All right, I am feeling a lot of emotional energy surrounding the masculine collective at this time with the Emperor here, with the King of Shells, and even the Princess of Roses, which is the Page of Wands. And it's almost like this need to... Okay, so obviously, as I always say, we are all masculine and feminine. We have both sides, right? I always attribute my right side to my masculine, the left side to my feminine, okay? And so the right side is like the doer, the protector, the, well, not the right side, but the masculine half of you is like the doer, the protector, the powerhouse kind of, I mean, it's a certain kind of powerhouse. It's like the kinetic energy, whereas you have the more receptive energy, obviously, is the feminine. So I feel like that part of ourselves is experiencing a kind of, it's experiencing a set of downloads, actually. And so what is this about? Oh, okay, so this may be the downloads that are coming in, the Princess of Roses. I was reading it differently before, but now they're giving me some other information. It's almost an upgrade that is clearing out like the negative, could be thought patterns, but it's not really thought patterns. It's like the negative matrix of this sort of control aspect. Okay, so there's some kind of aspect of control that's being altered within our masculine energy in a positive way. It's bringing in a new paradigm. It's bringing in, it's balancing it closer toward the feminine energy, whereas we have also gone through a feminine balancing to sort of, to become more balanced on both halves. Okay, so there's more of this negative like programming that has been laid upon us for the past 5,000 years at least, if not more, to allow a more allow a more visionary nature. They just brought my eyes to the word visionary. To allow a more visionary nature in the masculine, okay? I do think this is coming in through downloads, like a kind of communication. An almost imperceptible communication. So that's going to affect all of us. Obviously, those who are literally in the masculine collective, it will affect them more. And I'm feeling into that, and I do feel like there's a lot of emotional release that is related to this, okay? I almost feel like some guilt and shame coming out. And that could be related to them on a subconscious level trying to understand the changes in those energies, or, you know, just like thousands and thousands of years of masculine like enslavement or enslaving of others. I mean, now I'm getting kind of weird on you, but like I just feel like there's this weird shame and guilt thing coming out right now, and that they're just purging for things they've never personally done, or maybe done on a smaller scale that was completely acceptable within the society. So it's like you can't we're not laying blame here. We're just saying that this is coming, this like negative matrix is coming out, and they're receiving a different programming, more visionary programming, which makes sense. Visionary, if you think of visionary as a more updated, a more 5D, let's say 5D type template that's being dropped in, okay, for the masculine collective at this time, and for being feminine, and for us, because we have that energy as well, okay, we're sharing that energy. Okay, I hope that made sense and that I didn't totally lose you on that. Okay, so what is it? I did already say, what is it we need to do? And that to me was to know what it is that you want. What do you want your legacy to be? And then this just popped out when I asked no questions whatsoever. So, because I know you all are wanting to know, let me just go ahead and specifically ask for Divine Compliments, Twin Flames, how this will affect the relationship. This is for Divine Compliments, Twin Flames. How will this affect them? Okay, I'm just going to stop with these three. this is the Hierophant card in the regular tarot. So it says teach. This is love, which is the Lover's card. And this is another 6. This is like the 6 of Pentacles, 6 of coins. It says giving and receiving. So what did I just say? We're balancing our masculine and feminine sides. And we are removing. Now this card says teach, but because I just said all that stuff about removing negative, toxic templates from the masculine, I'm going to go ahead and say that we're balancing out some of that stuff, because sometimes when I look at the Hierophant, that to me can really be matrix, okay? That can be templates. I think of like, you know, the Middle Age papacy as like the very, I don't know, the core of like the Illuminati, the core of like of the Matrix, you know, when they set the Gregorian calendar and they changed all kinds of things, and they were the structure, they were the tradition at the time. So it's almost like, and I'm probably free associating that, but that's how tarot works, right? So I'm definitely seeing this sort of balancing out of the male and the female here, and the balance with the 6, to sort of clear away some of this matrix stuff. And in the process, we are learning. Like, teach is not a completely invalid card here. We are definitely learning a lot in this process. So, but I do feel like each one is coming into greater balance. Let's get some more on that. Do I want it? I guess I'm going to go ahead and take that. Okay. These came out earlier today too, and my friend Jody will laugh when she sees this, but we've got the sacral chakra and we've got healing begins. So there's a lot of sacral chakra healing going on. I'm going to tell you, mine went freaking nuts on Saturday, and then I tried to go to a healing session with my friend a couple hours away, and I got there and I'm not even going to repeat what she said to me, just in case my mom watches these. So yeah, people are going through sacral chakra activations and clearings. She cleared my sacral chakra, and then I did some more clearing on it the next day and balancing, because it was freaking crazy. Like, I don't know why I'm having, maybe because I need like some more sacral chakra clearing, but like, I'm telling you, my energy was shooting all the way up through my crown chakra. I'm just driving my car, and this was happening to me. It was crazy. Okay, so the next cards that are coming in are the 3 of Swords with the 4 of Pentacles and the 2 of Swords. So I make threats against the 2 of Swords all the time and never want to see this card again. But I feel... You know, I gotta be honest, like, this is not normally a communication card. These are communication cards. But it's almost like I feel like there's an opening between the partners. It's almost like there's a sharing of this, like, heartbreak. Like, what... It's like talking about it, opening up about it in some way helps to bring in greater stability. It helps to sort of, I'm almost getting ground and level up at the same time, the relationship, because you were able to share, you know, this emotional experience and why you're afraid. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is hurt and this is fear, and it's almost as if you're able to open up and share about that and talk about that and relate and grow in a new way. Well, that is not the textbook definition of these cards, but that's really what I'm getting from them. And believe me, if you've watched my readings, I'll tell you if the cards suck. Like, I'll tell you if they're not, you know, looking good. And for some of you, if okay, so I was feeling that way initially. And then on the flip side, if there are some of you who are still feeling stagnant, it's because of the need to release these fears about moving forward and a need to release this heartache, okay? But really the way, just looking at this card, the way that the artwork is, you know, your normal Four of Coins is some guy like holding on to his stuff, right? This one's totally different. And then when I look at this card, I just cannot feel that feeling of, it just feels like the growth of something, the stabilizing growth of something through sharing. Okay? Okay. Is there anything else to come out? Yes, they said yes. Okay, let's see. What can... That was all kind of general. What can the feminine collective expect? What can the feminine collective expect? Okay, solar plexus chakra with the Five of Pentacles, feeling alone. So this for me is about that need to really embrace. Let me get this card again. Is it going to let me pick it up? I don't know. Really embrace this Nine of Pentacles energy. This is that energy of independence, okay? It's almost like I feel like some of you guys are so focused on the other person that it makes you feel alone when the real power is here with you all along, okay? The real power is within your I am center. Who are you? You know, I am is right in your solar plexus, and beginning to truly love that and cherish that and be grateful for that is really the key. Until you get there, until you clear this chakra, until you really get to know it, this will always be the case. It does not matter who is in your life, okay? This will always be the case. You must get to know yourself first. You must love yourself first. You must cherish, respect yourself first. I'm not even sure what other word wanted to come out there, okay? So that's so important. And I see that a lot. I'm an admin on a group, and I see a lot of people posting like, you know, they aren't getting an answer, or somebody isn't, you know, responding to them, or they're not, you know, connecting with so-and-so, and what can they do? I'm like, love yourself first, y'all. That's the first thing you need to do. Okay. What can the masculine collective expect for this new moon? What can the masculine collective expect? Oh, man. Let's see. Oh, okay. This is good. This is good. Shine. Okay, which is number 19. That's like the sun card. With the Nine of Swords, darkest fears. So this is a perfect combination because I feel like it's clearly the light shining in on the darkest fears. In some ways, it's the sort of backside of the energy of the Nine of Shells, right? This is you figuring out what you want by knowing what you don't want also, okay? And it's kind of like clearing the fears by bringing light to them. Like they no longer have power once you illuminate them. Once you know what they are, these fears, I mean, there are legit fears in the world, right? There are legitimate things to be afraid of. The Nine of Swords tends to be about fears that you're holding in your own head that really aren't even like a thing, okay? And so these are the fears that hold us back so often. So I do see this illumination of those fears, okay? This empowerment. And so in so many ways, these two actually mirror each other, because here you have the solar plexus, which is the internal sun, the sun inside with the human body, and here's the sun card, period. And most of our fears absolutely surround the idea of abandonment and being completely alone and being unloved and uncared for and left out of community. Just, it's abandonment, okay? So, masculines, what are your darkest fears? Is it abandonment? Is it about not being accepted, never being loved? Is it about, somehow being considered a failure in your community? Being ostracized because somebody else thinks you failed at something? Well, guess what? Whose opinion matters? Not theirs, right? Illuminate those fears. Whose opinion matters? Whose sovereignty matters, okay, to you? What's the legacy you want to leave? Figure that out, okay? These fears have nothing to do with that. These fears are primarily mental, okay? So I don't want to beat a dead horse. Oh God, I hate that phrase. I'm sorry. I've said that like twice in videos. I think that's just stuck in my childhood bank of words to say. I will consciously try not to say that anymore. So you guys, I think I'm going to end it there. This has gone on for 45 minutes. I thank you so much if you stuck with me all this time. You can schedule a private session with me at IamEmilyGear.com, or you can order a recorded read for slightly less also on my website, IamEmilyGear.com. Okay, and I really appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.